Well, hello, Braveheart. Welcome to Putting on a Better Face. We're trying out a new format here. Everything is a mess, and that's okay. It's okay to be okay. It's okay to be great. It's okay not to be okay. This is the part of the day where I try to make this situation look a little bit better and ramble about whatever's on my mind without really any forethought. So let's get into it, shall we? This is uh, relatively new for me to be doing it through my webcam. And I will be, it's all a work in progress, as I like to continually remind us all. Working on my book, The Shift, and I feel like I've been working on it forever. And indeed, it's been like 9 months, like about ready to be birthed, I think. That said, so that feels good. And also a lot of angst and like wondering how it's going to be and all the normal things. So that's part of what I've been doing. I also took a day off a couple days ago for snowboarding, or half a day, which I try to do more regularly, and that was good. And then I spent the day at the desk making up for it yesterday, and now my body hurts. Meh. So there's that part of life. Uh, what I'm contemplating today is some work that I ran into that's really got me jazzed up because it's the same work I've been doing, but it's articulated. This guy's about 15 or 20 years or more ahead of me. Name's John D. Martini. I might be saying that wrong. Pardon me, John, if I am. Just diving into this man's work, and it's resonating greatly. I ran into it on Andre, is it Durham? Know Thyself podcast. Sorry, I'm butchering everybody's name. That's just one of my many special talents. Part of what I'm jazzed about with this guy John's work is that he's articulating the same, he's come to the same conclusion in his own work that I've come to in mine, which is how interconnected everything is, how the idea of good and bad is a human construct, and part of the trick of mastering our emotions, which is the framework I've been writing from and looking at, because I feel like dysregulation, emotional dysregulation, is causing a lot of human suffering in myself and in others. Like, I'm speaking from experience, but then also looking out at my fellow humans and seeing that as something of a crisis. And also, like, as I say that, put a lot of space, a lot of air quotes around that idea of crisis, because of course everything is as everything should be, is going along just fine in the contrasted world that we're in. And I do recognize that I got myself into a pretty deep pit of despair, let's call it, which I've been in before. And it's always sort of astounding to me that I end up there again, because I've been there so much. I know a lot about getting out of it. I know a lot about how relative it is. And yet I can still, like, I still am living in this meat suit body with hormones and emotions and traumas and memories and impulses and all the things that all of us are living with. And I think to want to live without that is really the wish of a dead person, as somebody I admire said a while back. So I try to remember it's part of the process. And I also think that there's ways of reframing things that lead to a more calming, dysregulated way of being. And at many times in my life, I've been able to capture more of that, or capitalize on more of that. And at other times I haven't. And that's why it's like bewildering to me sometimes, when it's like, how can I know all of this and yet still fall into dysregulation? So listening to this guy's work has been helpful, and I've only just started diving into it, but already it's very helpful because he's talking about the quantum nature of things, the way that when he's talking about it from the framework of a wave, which I really love and can resonate with, and how when we have these, when we judge either like through thinking someone is better than us or thinking someone is worse than us, while on some level, of course, that is necessary to live this physical life, on another level, on an energetic, emotional level, when we think that way, like in an extreme way, like we take it to be the truth, it is very hard and damaging, and it feels really bad from either direction. That's hence the phrase comparison is the thief of joy a lot of times. And that's one of the phrases I've really been working on unpacking more in my book, because I feel like comparison can also be the motivating force that we need to drive ourselves, or to become the people we want to be, or to help ourselves find the big whys about the people we don't want to become like, or the people we do want to become like, or the people that we want to make more proud of us. Of course, those are all very human animal things, but to me, that is very much a part of this existence, if not really the whole kit and caboodle, my grandmother would say. Would say if she was alive still. And perhaps she's alive in me, because I just said it. Anyway, all that rambling is to say that I think I agree with this man greatly, John DeMartini. I think I'm butchering his name still a little bit. About his conclusion that anything that we see in another person that really bothers us or that we really like is an invitation. These are my words now, I'm going to paraphrase, but I heard him saying the same thing and it got me excited. It's an invitation to reflect on where in ourselves we are denying something, either judging something harshly or denying something that we desire. And there's not a right answer to this whole life thing. Like there's only a right answer in the alignment, in the authenticity of being your true self. Most, I would argue, most vibrantly. I think I'm concluding lately that I'm raising my hand. I have a high drive, I've recognized. A lot of energy compared to many of my fellow humans, it seems. I find that bewildering at times because, of course, we only know the framework of ourselves. I can imagine, and I do often imagine what it's like to be other animals, to be other humans. I think I do a fair amount of a good job of putting myself in others' shoes, but obviously not perfect. You can't actually know. I can't actually read people's minds. I have a very good capacity for pattern recognition. And then, of course, I'm as blind as anybody. Here I am sticking things in my eye. Maybe you can guess why that rhymes. I'm trying to do more than one thing at once. And I know that's an unpopular idea these days, but this little pinky finger asterisk, another one of my passions. I just like to just defiant by nature, and I like to untangle and disagree with a lot of cliches or prove them. And another one is, oh heck, I think I forgot already. Did you see that? I went real wide. It's talking about, goal stacking, I remember, versus, multitasking has fallen out of favor. Everybody's saying like you can't multitask. And that's true. Our brains focus only in one. It's very helpful to focus, to learn to focus. I try to utilize that and get in a flow state, really hyper focus. And goal stacking, like I studied belly dancing briefly for a while, and the magic of that is being able to get your body parts to do more than one thing at a time. So, your hands might be moving at one flow while your shoulders are moving at another, and so on and so forth. Your hips are moving at one rhythm, and your hands are moving at another. Your neck is moving at another. And that is one of the beautiful, amazing things that we humans can do. So don't let anyone convince you that you or anyone else is one-dimensional, or that you can only do one thing at a time. That's absurd and ridiculous. That's what I got to say about that. So goal stacking is what I like to call it when I'm able to line things up, like putting on my makeup, making a video, exploring a topic that I want to dive more into. All of these things fit together nicely, and that's what I like to call goal stacking. I started doing this consciously when I was into time management, like, probably 20 years ago now. And I was studying time management because I was a single mom and I was juggling a lot, going to college, keeping up with my son and his own gifted program. And yeah, it was a lot at running my business. My executive function was much higher then, I will say, had the superpower of youth, but some of you may still have and not be appreciating. Let me just give another little shout out to appreciate your youth, because it's fleeting. It's all fleeting. Appreciate wherever you are, appreciate every bit of it, because why not? Talking to me and you, because it's easy to say, and of course not as easy to do sometimes. I do appreciate that. Back to what I was saying about this guy's work, and how that is also easy to conclude, easy to say, easy to see the truth in, and not always easy to do. And that is to find that sweet spot where we recognize that something that's bothering us or attracting us or making us feel envious about someone else is that invitation to self-reflect and think, where do I do that in my life? And I can both forgive myself, love myself, forgive the other person, love them, and appreciate how when we step back enough, when you gain enough perspective in the whole thing, you start to see how there's not, like, things aren't really good and bad. Things happen. They are what they are. The stories we tell about them are what cause us to feel all kinds of ways about them. Now, I think that as a woman going through perimenopause with a lot of hormones, I can say there's a whole lot to this biological experience that I think I certainly don't understand. And I don't think anybody really understands. I haven't met anybody yet who really understands it all. I think the trick is more about accepting that we're not going to be able to understand it all, and learning to not let the drive to figure things out become overwhelming and, like, basically use up a lot of the bandwidth that we could be using to just enjoy our lives or do the things that we know that do feel good and that we do want to do. And that's it's an ongoing process between examining, reflecting, tuning that out. I study flow state a lot lately, and so I'm big on finding ways to shush the ongoing narrator that is in my mind. Um, I think most people have that to some degree or another. Perhaps I have it to an extreme degree, as with many things in my life that tend to be extreme. I'm trying to move away from a lot of the labels like neurospicy, even though that is a good label and I like it and I do embody it. But I think lately I kind of am feeling over the whole dysfunctional label thing. For me, at least, it's not serving me well. So I reserve the right to change my mind. But that's where I'm at with that. What do you think? I think that's improvement. It's not perfect. I may start doing, like, makeup videos as I'm aging here and getting more and more age spots and various things. Maybe I'll maybe I'll dive into it. I do actually carry some botanical slash cosmetic supplies. Ironically, I used to carry a lot more over in my business, Sleeping Dragons Company, which you can find on Etsy. And you could probably find a link to that down below. I will mention I'm working hard on my Printify shop, trying to get my artwork and my t-shirt ideas and some of my merch available so that you can help support me in my endeavors to be a better human. That's what we're all trying to do, right? So I thank you for being you and doing your best at that, because I trust that you are. And I thank you for letting me be me and doing my best at it. And you can trust that I'm doing that too. We're all in this together. Don't forget to love yourself at least a little bit more. And yeah, check out the description for all kinds of ways you can support me. Keep a lookout and an ear out for my upcoming book, The Shift, which I'm working hard on and going to get back to. Check out more of my channels. Give me a like and a subscribe. I have a lot of fitness, fit and free yoga focus going on as I'm trying to work on my own wellness and health and really just bring my own body back into more coherence and hopefully inspire you to do more of the same, because again, we're all in this together. That's what I got to say about that. This has been Putting on a Better Face with Aunt Angel, ZGALA. Thanks for stopping by. I'll be seeing ya. Ciao for now.